Hope you're doing well. Super excited to be on this channel. I am teaching on CAT for MBA the first time, and I hope you all enjoy these sessions as much as I enjoy taking them. So, yes, the CAT is over, and for a lot of you, that would have been one of the most important exams this year. But in 2021, you now have another great exam for a very, very good management institute, and that is the XAT. So, we are going to now look at XAT paper discussions starting from 2008. That's what we are doing today. And guys, feel free to join in and feel free to get your doubts resolved. So, first of all, hi, who am I? I'm Munira Lokhandwala and I'm Calcutta alumna, a serial 100 percentiler in the CAT and a 99 percentiler in the GMAT. I have been training students for the CAT for the past 20 years, and I also have a CAT verbal book that's published by Wiley and available on Amazon. So, guys, you can find me on this channel, the CAT for MBA channel. I take sessions daily at 2 o'clock, and there are other great educators that are teaching from morning, starting from 8 in the morning till 10 in the night. So there'll be something or the other that will help you out. So keep checking this channel. We also take special classes on the Unacademy app, and there are plus batches that you can be a part of on this app, right? So how can you get regular notifications? First thing, subscribe to the YouTube channel. The link is given in the description, and the Telegram channel that will help you know when which lecture is taking place, so that you can decide which lecture to go for, right? So दोनों का link description में है. Please जाइए, subscribe to the channel, join the group, right? So I hope to see you around on a regular basis. 2 batches are starting. There's one batch, and both batches are starting today. So I'm going to be a part of the complete weekday batch where I'll be taking LRTI. Professor Ronak will be taking math, and Professor Neha will be taking verbal. Then there's another great batch starting from today. It's the absolute batch for CAT 2021 that is going to be taken by Professor Udit, Professor Shabana, and Professor Ria. So you can be a part of both the batches that you want, or one of the batches, right? So we are completely, it's a very, very flexible platform, right? So you can decide what you want to do, when you want to do it. You want to be a part of the live sessions, you can do that. You want to watch recordings, you can do that. But we always recommend to be a part of the live sessions, because you can really ensure that the teaching tempo suits what you have in mind, right? So great, do subscribe to Unacademy. Go for the 1-year subscription if you're looking at CAT 2021. If you're confused between 2021 and 2022, then you can look at the 2-year subscription. Do use my code Munira10 to get a 10% discount, right? So great, let's start off with the first question. 4 digits of the number 29138576 are omitted, so that the result is as large as possible. The largest omitted digit is. So I have 1 minute here that you can take to solve these questions, and then we'll solve it together. Yeah. Yes. So another 30 seconds, and then we'll start solving this question together. So great, you have 4 digits to be omitted from this number, right? Now you have to make the result as large as possible, right? Which means what? That you'll always try and ensure that it starts from 9, right? If you want the number to be as big as possible, you start off with 8 digits, you have to keep 4, eliminate 4, so it's best that it starts from 9. So definitely ये 2 को आप eliminate करोगे, 1 को भी eliminate करोगे, because 9 के बाद you'd want to have 8. There's an 8 here in this number. So you'll definitely eliminate 2, 1, 3. Correct? 3 आपने eliminate किया है. Now you are left with 9, 8, 5, 7 and 6. Right? Now in this, you will eliminate 5, of course, right? Then you'll be left with the largest possible 4-digit number, which is 9876. So out of the numbers that you have eliminated, the largest is option 5, which is 5, right? Great, let's move on to the next question, guys. Again, let me give you all a minute to solve this. Another 15 seconds left, guys. Okay, so you have a stock X and mutual fund Y, right? ये stock X है, mutual fund Y है. You are basically having the percentage return for each of these, for stock X also and mutual fund Y also, for so many days of the month, starting from the first day ending with the 16th day. Okay. Now, when are X and Y related? When are X and Y directly related? They are directly related. If X increases, Y also increases. X decreases, Y also decreases, right? That is direct relationship. Is that happening here? No, you see that your mutual fund Y is dropping, but your X is going up, correct? Similarly, your X is dropping, your Y is going up, so there is no direct relationship, right? You can have an inverse relationship. What is inverse relationship? If X goes up, Y comes down. And if Y goes up, X comes down, right? That is inverse. Can we say that they are always showing an inverse relationship? Not at all, right? Here you can see that both of them are going up, right? Here both of them are coming down, so there is no inverse relationship at all, right? So direct, inverse, both of them are not possible. What else? There is volatility के बारे में 2 questions, right? So we are saying directly proportional, not happening, inversely proportional, not happening. Is X more or less volatile than Y? So what is volatility? That is the first question, right? Okay, what is this volatility? Right? So XAT has all these bouncers suddenly. So a stock or a return is more volatile if the highs, right, are higher and they have lower lows, right? So it really goes up and down more than the other stock, right? A very simple way of looking at it is to look at the range. What is the range? It is the highest value minus the lowest value it takes. If the range is greater, then obviously that thing is more volatile. Okay. So let's check out the range for mutual fund Y. So mutual fund Y, you see highest wo around यहाँ पे है, highest value for Y. Lowest value for Y is around here, right? Whereas for stock X, the highest value is around here and the lowest value is around here. So you can see that the range for X is far greater than the range for Y, right? So X is definitely more volatile than mutual fund Y. Yeah. So great, guys. Let's move on to the next question. So before we start solving, right, this question, we have to really understand के directions क्या है. 2 questions के लिए you have these directions. First, third question is here, then fourth question is on the next slide. So what is the direction? के you have a statement followed by 3 conclusions. Okay. So either one of the conclusions is right. First right है तो 1 mark करो, second right है तो 2 mark करो. So either one of the conclusions they are right, right? Or all the conclusions can be right. There is no, in between नहीं है कि 1 and 2 is right, 3 is wrong, वो सब नहीं है, correct? So as soon as you get 2 of them right, you should mark option 4, right? And if you get 1 of them right, then obviously you'll go for 1, 2, 3. Basically, you don't need to check for all 3 is what I'm saying, okay? Hi, Kunashta. How are you doing? So Kunashta, I'll just give you a little time, solve this question. Let me know when you are done. Then we can discuss it. Yes? Yeah, I'm good too, Konashta. Really excited to be on CAT for MBA channel. This is my first session today. Oh, you're from the 12th class, 12th standard. Wow. So, are you looking at an MBA right now only? I mean, in the sense that are you focused on an MBA? That's great if you're focused at this age. No, I got that. Yeah, 12th class. I got that. Yeah. So, let's solve this, Konashta. Yeah. Your hashtag function basically just converts a hash b into 1 minus b by a. So if I look at the first conclusion, right? If I look at the first conclusion, 2 hashtag 1 is 1 minus half, right? This is b, this is a. और उसका hashtag आपको करना है with 1 minus 3 by 4. Preparing for IPM. Okay. Oh, this will be helpful then. Right? So just let me know, Konashta, if there's a doubt. So 1 minus half का hashtag हमें करना है with 1 minus 3 by 4. So this becomes half hashtag 1 by 4, which is nothing but 1 minus half over 1 by 4, right? So this is 1 minus half, correct? So this is not minus 1. So first one is out. Second conclusion, if we go for the second one, where is the, okay, here. So first option is out and fourth option is out. No doubt, okay. So if I look at the second one now, 3 hashtag 1 is 1 minus 1 by 3, which is 2 by 3. And 4 hashtag 2 is 1 minus 2 by 4, which is half, right? So you have a half here. So now you have 1 minus half over 2 by 3. So that is 1 minus 3 by 4. It is 1 by 4, right? So 1 and 2, both conclusions are not possible. Quickly, if we check for conclusion 3, then it is 1 minus 3 by 2, that is minus half, and plus 2 by 3. So you have 1 minus of 2 by 3 divided by minus half. So this works out to 1 minus 4 by 3. So none of these conclusions are true. Okay, Konashta. Right? So none of these conclusions are true. So answer here is option 5. Right? Let's move on to the next slide. So I'll give you all some time. You can solve this. Okay. तो ऐसे क्वेश्चंस तो हमने काफी देखे होंगे, right? That a plus b plus c plus d is 118, 156, 166 and 178, right? Where out of 4 only 3 are being used. So here d is dropped, here a is dropped, b is dropped and c is dropped. So when we add up all of these, right? Each of the variables are going to come only 3 times because in one of the equations they have been dropped. Right? So in each of the total, when we add up, you get each of them 3 times. So 3 times A, B, C, D is 618. And hence A plus B plus C plus D is 206. Now, out of this, right, the smallest is A plus B plus C. That means D has to be the largest, right? And the largest is D plus A plus B. So C has to be the smallest. So this should be clear even without finding the numbers, right? And this should have been clear right at the beginning also, correct? B is not going to be the largest, A is not going to be the smallest, and hence even without solving, you can see that the answer has to be option D, right? D has to be the largest. Yes, but you need to check the actual value because answer could easily be 5, where none of the conclusions are valid, okay? So here we have A plus C plus D, A plus B plus C plus D is 206, and then A plus B plus C is 118, right? So the difference is going to be 88, right? Which is the value for D. So definitely second option is true, and here you'll go for option 2 and not 5, right? Any doubts? Okay, next one. So x denotes the greatest integer less than or equal to x, right? So this, particularly this bracket, denotes the greatest. So whenever you have the number line, right? 0, 1, 2, and so on. If your number is an integer, like let us say x is 4, then your greatest integer also will be 4. But as soon as it becomes 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, this will still be 4 till x becomes 5. So it will always give you the greatest integer which is just less than x, right? If x is a fraction. Okay. So here, for example, this value will be 0 because the fraction is 0.33. Uske pehle wala integer is 0, right? So just solve this, guys. I've explained what the function also is. Let me give you 30 seconds. Type in the answer if you can in the chat box and we'll discuss it. Yes? Okay. No, you don't need to take any equations here. You're preparing for TISNET, okay? Okay. TISNET का maths इससे थोड़ा easy level है. So if you prepare for this maths, that means you're definitely prepared for TISNET maths. Yeah? So great, should we do this or should I wait for you? What do you say? Alright, let's start off. So ये 0 है first वाला, correct? Now instead of seeing it as 1/3 and 1 by 99, we should see this as 33 by 99 plus 1 by 99 and then 33 by 99 plus 2 by 99 and so on, right? Till you reach 33 by 99 with 98 by 99, correct? So the point is that For a long time, this value is going to be less than 1. And as long as it is less than 1, this will give you 0. So when does it first become 1? So it becomes 1 at 66 by 99. So here is when it becomes 1. Correct? It becomes 1 here. And then from 66 by 99 to 98 by 99, it remains 1. So how many times do you get 1? So how many such numbers are there from 66 to 98? Correct? So those you'll have 98 minus 65. You'll get 33 such numbers. Right? So this is one way of finding 33. The other is you can also say it's 98 minus 66, but you are counting both. So plus 1. So whichever way you look at it, the answer is going to be 33. Right? Any doubts here, guys? Let's move on. So a minute for you all to just look at it and solve it, and then we'll solve it together. Till then, I can take my time to draw a neat diagram. Yes. So let's see how we can go about solving this. We have to find PR. So a very quick way of solving this is to actually work with coordinate geometry, right? Let D be your origin, right? So A is 0, 2, C is 2, 0, and B is 2, 2, right? There it's a square of side 2 units. Okay. So 0, 2, 0, 0, 2, 0, and 2, 2. Okay. Now, your line DP, correct? Where P, what point will P be? P is the midpoint between A and B. So P ka Y will be 2, right? It's on the same line. But P ka X will be 1. So P is going to be 1, 2, right? And D is 0, 0. So slope of DP, when Y changes by 2, X changes only by 1. So slope of DP is 2, right? Slope of DP is 2, then AR, which is perpendicular, uska slope hoga reciprocal and then minus, right? So it's going to be minus half. Because perpendicular lines always multiply to give you minus 1, right? So the slope of AR will be minus half. So what is the equation of the line AR? So because the slope is minus half, it's going to be x plus 2y is equal to a constant. To find the constant, just substitute 0, 2. So the equation of this line is going to be x plus 2y is equal to 4. Okay. Now R is on this line and R is passing through BC also. R lies on BC. So R will be of the form 2, something. So I can substitute 2 here. So I get 2 plus 2 into y is equal to 4. So y is equal to 1, right? So this is 2, 1. right? Great. अभी हो गया काम. We have P का coordinates, right? We have R का coordinates, and we can find PR now because PB का distance is 1, BR का distance is 1, and hence PR will be root 2. Correct? So answer here is root 2. Right? Great. Next one, guys. So again, I'll just give you a little while to acquaint yourself with the question like a friend, and then you can solve it. Let me draw till then. So AD is 10, BP is 8, and this is a right angle triangle. So clearly AP must be 6. So you have 6, 8, and 10, which is your multiple of your 3, 4, 5 triangle. Okay. Now when you have a rectangle with this construction happening, what happens is you have a lot of similar triangles. Let's see how. ये तो अपना right angle है. Let us say this angle is, an x, and this angle is a dot. So x plus dot is 90. तो यहाँ पे भी BAD is 90, so this has to be a dot, and this has to hence be an x. Here, again this has to be x, and this has to be a dot, right? Whenever you have a 90, if one of them is x, the other will be a dot. Okay. So, since these triangles are all similar, let us quickly write down how they are similar. APD is similar, right? So, you have x, right, dot. X, right, and dot, right? Will be similar to P, B, and A. And that will be similar to D, C, and P. These are all three similar. So, they are all three in some sense a 3, 4, 5 triangle, correct? They are all, uska kuch constant hai, but they are all 3, 4, 5 triangle. Okay. अभी इसका hypotenuse 6 है, right? And the side opposite the dot, that is the side that is 60 degrees of the hypotenuse. The side opposite the dot is 60 degrees of the hypotenuse. So dot के opposite यहाँ पे BP है, तो BP is going to be 60% of the hypotenuse. So BP is going to be 3.6. That is your answer, 3.6. Right? Any doubts? Great. So I'll give you all a minute. Just try looking at this question. So we have to find the value of x minus y, right? Let's see how we can go about it. So work with what you know. What do we know? Wherever there are constants, it's easier to work, right? So 4 and 5 is 9. 5 and 2 is 7. So this number is 7. 9 and 7 is 16. Right? Here now you have y plus 4. Now we'll work with a variable. This is y plus 4. This is y plus 13. And hence top you get y plus 29. So 68 is equal to y plus 29 and another y plus 29. So y is equal to 5. Right? But we want to find out x minus y. So please don't go ahead and mark 5 here. We want to find out x minus y. Okay. So y is 5. That means this value is 34. Because y is 5. So this must be 18. And this must be 11. So if 2 plus x is 11, x must be 9. And hence x minus y is going to be 4. Third option. Right? Great. Moving on. So yeah, absurdly horrible question. And a question that can make a good person puke. So just read and understand. We'll solve it together. How much did I score in CAT? Arpan, I have scored around, wait, let me remember. DI I have scored the lowest. DI I have scored around 39. And I have scored, in English, I have scored around 68. And maths I don't remember. But maths I've attempted all. I think maths is around something in 60s. So this is the score. I believe percentiles are awaited, Arpan. How was your score? Yes? I gave second slot 2. One of the tougher LRDI slots is what I've heard. But also a slot where you can sleep and wake up aram se and you can still come back and party, right? So in that sense, slot 2 was a good slot. Slot 1 वालों को बेचारों को जल्दी उठना था, slot 3 वालों को का संडे पूरा चले जाता है. You scored a 96. Don't say mere, yeah. Which slot were you in? Slot 2? No, I think slot 2 was definitely one of the toughest. So 96 could still mean good news. Don't worry. So they have not given an exact date for the result, but I'm expecting they should be out with it by 4th or 5th of January. Yeah. So should we solve it, Arpan? What do you say? You're taking XAT, Arpan? Okay. No, it was a horrible DILR. You shouldn't think too much about it. जो हो गया है, and really, we really have no idea how the normalization process takes place. So don't overthink. Focus on your XAT right now. Your XAT is most probably going to be before the result, right? So I am hoping you take the XAT, right? XLRI is a very good institute. So if you're convinced about MBA, तो XAT लेना चाहिए. No, you're not taking it? Okay. All hopes. How was your English, Arpan? For the CAT? I'm hoping, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Hopefully. It would be nice. But I think a 99.98 plus is a given. Let's see. So every year when I used to read the newspapers, at least for the last 2-3 years, they would say 100 percentiles are only boys and all that. So I'm hoping that I'm not taking any others. 433. Okay. 48. Maths, I think, is pretty good. But yeah, so Arpan, I asked your verbal specifically because a lot of students ignore their English. So do work on your English if you're looking at next year seriously, right? Do a lot of GMAT material. GMAT material is very good for verbal preparation, right? So whether it is critical reasoning, whether it is RC, they both will help you a lot, right? For your CAT. So just work hard on your verbal. Don't ignore it. Yeah. So what do you say, Arpan? Karte hai na question? This could easily be a CAT question also. Yeah. Let's do it. So you have a number of girls opting for operations. So I'm calling them, girls in ops, plus boys in systems. Somehow BS always reminds me of bullshit. But anyways, boys in systems, that is 37. 22 students opt for operations. So that means girls in operations and boys in operations is 22. And systems and operations is 20. Correct? तो यहाँ तक तो सब ठीक है. Even read anything as people advise, never did. No, don't do that, Arpan. That I know this. This is so true for most students, right? They think your verbal is 1/3. We all know verbal is boring, right? Even I love reading, but still some of these passages that come in the CAT, they are so horrendous, right? They can easily put you to sleep. So I agree that the verbal is boring, but we have to do it. And if we have to do it, if you have to take the exam, take it well, right? Prepare for it properly. So don't ignore your verbal. हर दिन 10-15 minute, put your verbal का prepare करो. In fact, I feel कि जिसका verbal strong है, right? उसका तो पूरा CAT easy हो जाता है. The whole goddamn paper is in English. The better your English is, the faster you're going to be, right? And I don't know how conversant you are with bodybuilding and all that, but imagine if somebody who goes to the gym regularly and says every day I just work on my legs and never work on my arms, and you would say, what rubbish is that, right? You need to work on everything. Okay, so I hope the analogy is helpful, Arpan, and don't ignore your English, right? Yeah. So coming back to the last statement, number of students opting for systems elective, which means girls in systems plus boys in systems plus boys in operation, that is 37. HR का तो अलग है कि total students HR के 25 है, correct? ये तो अलग ही है. There's no other intersection. Yes, good, great Arpan, I'm glad. So now when you see something like this, right, again you look for a pattern. कि यहाँ पे you have GO with variable 1, variable 2, variable 3, and here you have GO with the no GO but the remaining 3 variables. So if I add this up, right, I get 3 times GO, and then I get all these other things, right, that is here. I get GS plus BS plus BO. And this value we already know, it is 37. So 3 GO plus all this is 37 plus 42, and the 37 cancels off. So GO is 14. Yeah, your DILR is also, a little borderline, but still something can come out of it. It's only your VARC that you have to work on. Yes, Arpan, don't take it lightly. And believe me, it is sad to say, but it is true that in India, being good at English communication will help you in your job also, right? You're being a good communicator, whether it is while talking, whether it is while presenting, writing emails, being a good communicator is critical to whatever you do. So English ko ignore mat kijiye. Yes, Arpan? So coming back to this, here GO is 40. And now once you know GO, you can find out everything else, right? So 25 है HR में, operations में है 22. I just need to know कि girls BS, girls in systems, boys in systems कितने हैं? So that is 6 and 23. So systems is 29, right? So systems is 29 and operations is 22. So total is going to be 76, which is fourth option. Yeah. Next, if 20% of the girls opt for HR electives, then the total number of boys in the second year is. Okay. So total number of boys in the second year is what? You have to add boys in systems, boys in operations, and boys in HR. Correct? So girls in HR are 5. So boys are 20. Correct? 25 may say 1/5 are girls. So boys are 20. Boys in systems are 23. And boys in operations, you can find out from here. Okay, this is 14. So this must be 8. Right? So this whole thing works out to 51. Great. Any doubts here? English, yes, yes. Corporate communal harmony. I don't know about that, but it's definitely helpful in the corporate world. Yes. Great. Let's move to the 11th question, Arpan. What do you say? So data sufficiency, right? Always get, internalize the options before you start solving. Okay, if 1 is 1 alone, 2 is 2 alone, 3 is both together, 4th is each alone, and 5 is, right, insufficient. Everything is insufficient. Okay, both together, each alone, and insufficient. Okay, so it's very much like your GMAT options, NMAT option. ये काफी उससे similar है, normal है options, right? So let's try and solve the first one, 11th one. Why don't you all try this? I'll give you all a minute, and then we'll solve it together. Okay, let's look at the first one. So the way I try to solve geometry questions, right, is especially data sufficiency. Okay, to find something, right, there must be some geometry formula. I don't care what is the formula. I can only find things uniquely if I can draw a unique diagram. If I can draw a unique diagram, right, that means वो कुछ भी करके geometry में कुछ करके निकल आएगा. So I don't get into the geometrical formula. I don't get into the proper maths. I just look at the data given and I ask myself, can I draw something unique? Okay. So the second one, it is very easy to see the uniqueness. Okay, आपका 60 का length है, right? On one side, you're drawing an angle of 60 degrees. On the other side, you're drawing an angle of 45 degrees. It's a unique triangle. And when the triangle is unique, you can find everything, right? In radius hai, circumradius hai, kuch bhi chahiye, you can find it. So 2 alone, sufficient. Okay. Now let's look at 1 alone. So if we look at 1 alone, your base is 60. Right, your base is 60 and one angle is 60. ये दिया गया है. Now the other two sides add up to 80. That means think of having one full stick of 80. इसको बीच से तोड़ के आपको नीचे लाना है, so that it touches here. Because the length of 60 below, right, that is fixed. It has to touch down. So imagine अगर आप एकदम ऊपर जाके तोड़ोगे, थोड़ा सा उसको नीचे लाओगे, तो obviously it's not going to touch, right? There is going to be a unique place where if you break it and pull it down, it's going to touch at 60. So even with this, you're going to have a unique diagram. So each gives you a unique diagram. So the answer is option 4. right? Any doubts here? Great. Second one. Just have a look. Yeah, we'll solve it. So A, B, C, D, E, and F are 6 integers, and we want to find out is A the smallest out of the 6, right? So A is less than D is less than B. तो ये तो फालतू है ना, we don't need this. If A is less than D is less than B, A is obviously less than B, right? And C is the greatest. तो C एक अलग ही greatest है. That means the smallest can be E or it can be F, correct? E or, not F, sorry, E or A. It can be E or it can be A. That is what we are getting from the question itself. Now let's look at the first one. Okay, E plus B in comparison to A plus D. So let's look at A plus B in comparison to A plus D. Obviously, this will be greater because B is more than D. Because B is more than D, A plus B will be more than A plus D. But if I replace A with E, suddenly it becomes less. If I replace, right, it's given to us K, it is less. So why is this happening? Because it must be because E is smaller than A. So when I replace A with E, this whole thing comes down. So is A the smallest integer? The answer is no, it is not. And hence, first one is sufficient. Because I'm getting a clear answer. I'm getting no, it is not, right? It is a clear answer. So first one is sufficient. Now let's look at the second one by itself. Okay, D is less than F. Okay, so F is somewhere greater than D. Can we say anything about E, right? F D से बड़ा है. Can we say anything about E? कि E यहाँ पे होगा, कि A से छोटा होगा, कि A से बड़ा होगा? No, we cannot say. So 2 alone, not sufficient. Answer is only 1 alone. And hence we'll go for option 1, right? Any doubts, guys? Great, let's move on to the next one. So yes, do try this. Then we'll look at an interesting way of solving this. Yeah. So yes, obviously there is an equation way of solving this. Okay. What is the equation way? K agar n are the number of tests and A is the average. Right? Then originally the sum of all marks is NA. जब आप उस पे 83 add करते हो, the new sum of all marks is number of tests plus 1 and the average has increased by 2. Correct? So you have to basically expand it, cancel an, and then you are left with one equation, 2 variables. तो यहाँ से एक निकलता है, right? Second, you can do something similar. कि जो original sum है, इसमें when you add 75, तो the new sum में number of tests go up by 1 and average goes up by an extra 1, right? So this is your second equation. Again, expand, you will get another equation in A and N. You get two linear equations, right, in A and N, simultaneous equations. You can solve it, right? So I'm not going to teach you all that. I'm sure you all know that. Let's look at another way of solving. You have 83 marks, okay, जिससे आपका average went up by 2. What should you score in the next one so that your average again goes up by 2? I want you to think about this, okay? If you're watching this later, pause it and think about this. Okay, what should you score in the second test so that your average again goes up by 2, right? You need to at least score 83, that you will agree. Okay, कम से कम 83 तो वापस score करना है. पर the average that you were facing at 83 and the average that you're facing at the next time, that itself has increased by 2. So you need to score an extra 2, right? Then, because your number of tests have gone up by an extra test, you have to score another 2. So if you scored 87 in the second test, your average would have gone up by an extra 2, right? But what has actually happened? You have scored 75. So your average has only gone up by 1 instead of 2, which means that the number of tests is the difference, right? That has to be 12. The number of tests have to be 12. That's it. Now a lot of your work is already done, right? Okay. When you scored 83, so number of tests is 12 along with the 75 and the 83. So before scoring 83, the number of tests were 10. Now when you're scoring 83, you're scoring the average and you're scoring 2 extra for all the 11 because अब इसको भी add करना पड़ेगा ना. So you're scoring 2 extra for all the 11. That means your average must be 61. Then your average goes up by 2, it becomes 63. Then your average goes up by 1 year, it becomes 64. And now when you're scoring 51 for 13, this is your 13th test. The difference is also 13, so it's going to drop by 1 and your answer is going to be the first option, right? Any doubts here? Great, let's move on to the next one. While you are thinking about this question, I'll take some time and draw a good diagram, neat one. So APD is 12, APD is 27. Yes. So let's consider triangle BAD and triangle CAD. They both are drawn on the same base, right? Base is same. And area is also the same. Okay, BAD is 27 plus X, CAD is also 27 plus X. That means, right, what does it mean, guys? That the height is also the same. Which means that the height of point B from AD and the height of point C from AD, they both are the same, which means that BC is parallel to AD. Correct? BC is parallel to AD. Great. Now we also know that when you have two sides parallel, you have a trapezium. So this is a trapezium. And because these two sides are parallel, you can prove that triangle BPC is similar to triangle DPA. So if the triangles are similar, the ratio of the sides, right? The ratio of the sides is the root of the ratio of the areas. So what is the ratio of the areas? It is 27:12, which is 9:4, right? Which is 3:2. So ratio of the sides is 3:2. This is 3 and this is 2, which means now if I consider triangle BAC with triangle BAD, then दोनों का height same है, but the base, right, BC and AD, that is in the ratio 2:3. So the area also will be in that ratio, right? So BC is going to be 12 plus x over 27 plus x. This is nothing but 2/3. When you solve this, guys, you get x as 18. Any doubts, guys? Let me know in the chat box. We can talk about it. Great. Look at the next question. We'll solve that now. So what does F4,3 mean? F4,3 means distributing 4 toys amongst 3 children. Right? 4 toys amongst 3 children. And what is the constraint? At the most 2 toys. Whether they get a toy or not, whether they get 0 toys, 1 toy, that doesn't matter. But they cannot get more than 2. So how can I break up 4 amongst 3 variables, right? How can I break up 4? 1, of course, is 4, 0, 0. But this will not work because one child is getting more than 2 toys. The other is 3, 1, 0. Again, this is more than 2 toys, doesn't work. So there are 2 cases, 2, 2, 0 and 2, 1, 1. So here you ask yourself, which is the child that gets 0? That can be chosen in 3 ways. Which is the child that gets 2? That can be chosen in 3 ways. So totally we have 6 ways to distribute, right? And hence the answer is option 5. Yeah. So ये थोड़ा answer, there's a slight error here. But this is of course XAT question paper, XAT answer key, right? And the options are also very clear. But frankly, there'll be more ways because the toys are different. So they have to say, right, that similar toys. Otherwise, child 1 getting a bat and child 2 getting a ball is very different from child, 2 getting a ball and child 3 getting a bat. So then the number of possibilities will be far more. Yeah. Great. Next one, guys. Just have a look and then we'll solve it together. So great, you have total runs being scored as 232. How are the runs scored? They are scored as the buys. They are scored because of wides. And they are scored because of the runs, right, by Ram and Shyam. Now, if the wides are x, the runs are 26x, right? And the buys are x plus 8. So then it becomes very easy to solve this. It's 26x plus x plus x plus 8 as 232, right? And hence you will get x as 224 divided by 28, which is 8. So how many runs did Ram score? Ram has scored 6 by 13 of the total runs. Total runs are 26 into 8, right? So that is your answer, guys, 96. Second option. Great. Next question, guys. X is all this, A, B, C, and Y is all this. And you have a subset of the intersection, right? X into Y ka possible combinations. Which of these is a function? Okay. So before we start solving, right, we need to understand कि function का basic definition क्या है. What is it that makes a function a function? So whenever you're defining a function from one set to the other, right, from x to y, you have to ensure that the function is defining, right, a value for all elements in x. So if these are the elements of x, and the function is mapping, right, ये यहाँ पे है, ये यहाँ पे है, ये वाला इधर है, but it is not mapping one value, then it is not a function. It has to map each and every value in x. It may not map each and every value in y, but it has to map each and every value in x. Okay, so that's the first criteria. Second criteria is that there cannot be any confusion. So you can't have one value of x mapped to two possible values in y. This cannot happen. Right? So it has to be a clear mapping. Now when we look at that clear mapping, right? F1 is not possible because it's mapped to both L and M. That doesn't work. F4 is not possible because C is not mapped. So hence F2 and F3 works. Right? You have option 3. Right? Great. Guys, next question. So this is a horrid question. Why don't you all give this a try? And then we'll do it together. Yes, so how do we go about it? You have 6 variables. You normally, to get unique solutions for 6 variables, guys, we need 6 equations, right? How many equations do we have? यहाँ पे एक equation है, यहाँ पे second, यहाँ पे third, right? Fourth, and you have fifth, and then you have a constraint. You don't have an equation, you have a constraint, right? So normally 5 equations with 6 variables. Your first instinct, and it may not be a wrong instinct, right, is to say that it's not solvable. But you also have a constraint. So if we have to solve it using the equation method, then I would say don't solve it, right? But we can actually look at values. So C का value दिया है, F का value दिया है. Is there anything that connects C and F here? Yes, it is this option. C plus F is 3A. Right? So if I look at C plus F as 3A, I need to look at possibilities of the sum where C plus F gives me not only a multiple of 3, but it gives me 3 into a prime number, and not only a prime number between 12 and 20. So 3 into the prime number can be 3 into 13, which is 39, or it can be 3 into 17, which is 51, or it can be 3 into 19, which is 57. So this is what I'm looking for C plus F. Okay, so let's see. 23 plus 14, not happening, but 23 plus 16. So this is one possibility, that 23 plus 16 is 3 into 13. So एक हमें मिल गया possibility. It's a possibility, guys. Okay. Now if I look at the second possibility, are there any other possibilities? 23 and 20, 43 doesn't work. 23 and 24 is 47, not a multiple of 3, but 23 and 28, right? That is 51, which is 3 into 17. So great, we got 2 possibilities with just 23. Okay. Now let's look at 21. 21 and 14, 35, not happening. 21 and 16, 37, not going to work out. 21 and 20, 41, no way. 21 and 24 is 45, but that's not 3 into a prime number. So basically 21 doesn't work out with anything. Let's check 19. 19 and 14, 33, but that's not 3 into, 13, 17, 19. But 19 into 16, 35. 19 into 20 works. 19 plus 20, right? This is 39. So it's 3 into 13. Okay. One more possibility. Then 19 with 24 doesn't work. No, nothing else works. 17 with 14, 31. 33 doesn't work. 37 doesn't work. 41 and 45. So ये भी cancel हो गया. 13 भी if you'll check, 27, 29, 33, 37 and 41 doesn't work. So there are only 3 cases. These 3 cases are easier to solve, guys, than actually working with all the equations. Okay, so let's see how we'll work with these 3. Let's see. Let's try 23, right? So ये A है, ये B है, C, D, E and F. So C is 23 in the first case, F is 16. And F and D are very nicely related. So straight away I know what is the value of D. D is going to be 8. Correct? And A is 13. That is our first case. Can we find E easily? Yes, we can, because C plus D plus E is 2F. So E will have to be 1. And then B plus C plus D is 4A, out of which, C plus D plus E is 32. Right? So B will be 20. So this is what we have found out. We have found out all values. Now what do we do with this? You check whether this works out. Whether E plus F is 2C plus 1. Correct? So if you check E plus F here, it is 17 and 2C plus 1 is 47. It does not work out, right? So ये option not possible. Next, try the second option. So C is again 23, F is 28, so D is 14, right? And now C plus D plus E is 2F. So this is going to be 19. B is going to be again 68 minus 56. So B is going to be 12. And A, of course, is 17. E plus F, is it 2C plus 1? Yes, it is. So this works out perfectly. Okay. Let's try the third one. What if the third one also works out? Then our approach is wrong, correct? So let's try out the third one quickly. And remember, this is not one question that we are solving. It's 3 questions. So put C as 19, right? F is 20, so D is 10. Can we find E quickly? Yes. C plus D plus E is 2F, 40. So E is going to be 11. And B will be, so A is 13, right? So B will be 22. And is E plus F 2C plus 1? No, it is not. So there is just one case. And now we can answer the question. So what is the value of C? Yeah. What is the value of C, guys? Value of C is 23. What is the value of F? Value of F is 20. And what do we have here? Is D the lowest integer? Remember, we are looking at this case. No, D is not. Is C the greatest integer? No, C is not. F is the greatest. Is B the lowest integer? Yes. So if you see, only one option works out, and that is option 3, right? So we are now able to solve all 3 questions. So great, let's move on to the next question, guys. Right. So data sufficiency question. Do give it a look. One 180 of the guests had a house both in the Hamptons and in Palm Beach. If not everyone at the fundraiser had a house, okay. So this is if I'm drawing the diagram. This value is 180. And there's a value outside, right? There are people who don't have a house in either. What is the ratio? Okay. So let's say this is Palm Beach and this is Hamptons, right? And this is A and this, the intersection is B and this is C. We need to find out A, right? Had a house in Hampton, but not in the Palm Beach, not in Hamptons. To those who had a house in the Hamptons and not in Palm Beach. So A by C is what we need to find out. So if I look at the first statement, 1/2 of the guests had a house in Palm Beach, right? So A plus B, and let's say this outside part is D. A plus B is equal to C plus D. Do I know B is equal to D? If I could, then maybe I can find the ratio of A and C, but I don't know that. So first one, not sufficient. If I look at the second one now, 2/3 of the guests had a house in the Hamptons. So B plus C is double of A plus D. Right? So what do we get? That B plus C is 2A plus 2D. And of course, we all know that B is 180. But if there's no value for any other function, right, this is not going to help us. So anyways, if we are solving this, we get B is equal to 2A plus 2D minus C. And here we get B is equal to C plus D minus A. So if I equate the two, why am I working with B? Because guys, I want to get something between A and C. So I don't want B, I'm just removing B out of the equation. So we get 2A plus 2D minus C is equal to C plus D minus A. Correct? And that gives us that 2A, 3A plus D is equal to 2C. So this is still, I'm still have to deal with D. If there's some relationship that we know between B and D, then this question becomes solvable. As of right now, the answer is going to be both of them are insufficient, so answer is going to be E. Right? Great guys, next one. The number of passengers on a certain bus at any given time is given by this equation. Okay? So do give it a shot guys and then we'll solve it together. So P is equal to all this. Minus 2 times S minus 4 the whole square. So thankfully you have a quadratic equation जिसमें से perfect square is already removed. अगर remove किया नहीं होता तो ये आपका काम होता perfect square निकालना. But perfect square already remove किया गया है. Correct? Now the quadratic equation has a minus attached to it. Okay. So quadratic equation, any equation, whether it is, just a simple x square or an x minus 3 the whole square, right? Or 2x plus 7 the whole square, whatever it is, it always has a minimum at 0. The minimum value it can take is 0. Okay. So when a quadratic equation has a positive coefficient, like something like this, and plus 37, तो आपका equation का 0 है minimum और ये पूरे का करेक्ट ये पूरे का मैक्सिमम इज नॉट डिफाइंड मिनिमम इज डिफाइंड एट 37 और ये 37 से बड़ा ही होगा राइट बट व्हेन यू हैव अ नेगेटिव कोएफिशिएंट इन आवर केस देन द मैक्सिमम इज डिफाइंड कि व्हेन दिस होल थिंग इज 0 राइट व्हेन द होल थिंग इज 0 then you will get the maximum value of 32. So when is this thing 0? When s is equal to 4. Right? When s is equal to 4, you get 0. That is when it attains a maximum. Correct? How many passengers will be on the bus? 2 stops after the stop which had its greatest. So when is the maximum? S is equal to 4. 2 stops after this is s equal to 6. And when I put 6 here, you get 6 minus 4 the whole square into minus 2, which is what? It is 4 minus 2, 8. And so the answer is 24. Right, guys? Great. So moving on to the next question. So do give it a shot and we'll solve it together. All right. So what is the question actually asking? What is the remainder if this whole thing is divided by 10? If 2 raised to p is divided by 10, which means they are asking कि भाई बताओ हमें कि 2 raised to p का units digit क्या है? That's what it's asking you for, right? And we know कि जब हमें units digit निकालना है, so we have to find the remainder with respect to 4. 2 raised to 1 का units digit is 2, 2 square का units digit is 4, 2 cube का units digit is 8, and 2 raised to 4 का units digit is 16. Right? So this is how we are going to go about it. So I need to find out कि p का remainder क्या है with respect to 4. Knowing s is even is not helpful. The remainder can be 2 also, the remainder can be 4 also. So 1 alone, not helpful. 2 alone straight away tells us that p is a multiple of 4. So answer is 2 alone. Right, guys? Next question. So one way, of course, of solving this question is to do the maths, right? That 2 raised to 2x minus 1 is equal to 2 cube raised to y. So we get 2x minus 1, right, is equal to 3y. And x in terms of y is 3y plus 1 is 2x. So x is 3y plus 1 by 2. Right? This is one way of doing it. The other way is you can put numbers, right? So you can say 2 raised to 6 is 8 square, right? But that will not work because 2x minus 1 means odd. So you can say 2 raised to 9 is 8 cube. So y is equal to 3 and 2x minus 1 is 9, so x is equal to 5. And you can then substitute here in each of these options. Okay, when we put y is equal to 3, do I get x equal to 5 or not? Right? And so that is another way of solving. Right? Let's move on to the next question. Slightly tricky one, guys. So just look at how to solve this. So cylindrical tank is filled with water at the rate of 22 cubic meters per hour, right? And per hour, the tank rises at a rate of 0.7. Okay, so whatever volume is coming into the tank per hour, that volume is used to fill up your base area into height, right? Base area into height. Now height we already know, okay, per hour the height moves by 0.7. So what is the base area? Base area is going to be 22 by 0.7. That is your base area. Now it's a cylinder. So your base area is nothing but a circle. It is pi into r square. Correct? So this is 22 by 7 into 10. And this is equal to 22 by 7 into r square. So 22 by 7 cancels off. R square is 10 and hence r is equal to root 10. Right? Any doubts here, guys? So we have r is equal to root 10. Moving on to the next question. Eight cities, including Memphis, compete in a national contest to host a political convention. Exactly one city wins the competition. What is the probability that Memphis does not win the competition? Right? So do give this a shot. So does not win the competition. The probability that any one of these 8 cities does not win the competition is 7 by 8. So if it is for any one, right, it also has to be for Memphis. And so you can find the Memphis probability. In fact, knowing that this is true for any one means each of the 8 cities ka probability is equal. It's not important for us right now, but we can just learn, right? Okay, each of the 8 cities ka probability is equal. And hence each of the 8 cities ka hosting probability is 1 by 8. So 1 alone sufficient. 2 alone wins the competition is 1 by 8. So does not win will be 7 by 8. So 2 alone also sufficient. Each alone sufficient. So answer is option D. Right guys, moving on. Is A by B negative? Given that this is negative and this is negative. So do try this guys. I'll give you all 30 seconds and then we'll solve it together. So yes, we need to find out, is A by B negative? When you have a question like this, there are two possible answers, yes or no, and both are equally fine, right? If you get no as an answer, does not mean that the data is not sufficient, okay? So first statement tells us that A square over B cube is negative. What does this mean? So I can write it as A square by B square into 1 by B. This is negative. Now, a square is always positive, so it means 1 by B is negative and hence B is negative. Does that mean A is negative, A is positive? No idea, 1 alone, not sufficient. 2 alone tells us A into B raised to 4 is negative, but this is always positive, so A has to be negative. Again, 2 alone not sufficient, but both together we know A is negative, B is negative, so A by B will be positive, and hence the answer to this question is no. Right? So the answer is both together. C is needed to solve. Great. Next question, guys. If Paul's income is 40% less than Rex's income, Quentin's income is 20% less than Parul's income, and Sam's income is 40% less than Paul's income. If Rex gave 60% of his income, okay. So first of all, Rex ka 2/5 is Paul, and Quentin is 1/5 of Paul. So let Rex ka income be 25, right? Because I'm going to do 1 by 5 two times, I'm starting with 25, okay? Then Paul is 2/5 less, so Paul is 15. Quentin is 1/5 less than Paul, right? So 1/5 of this is 3, so Quentin is 12. Sam is 40% less than Paul, so Sam is going to be 9. If Rex gave 60% of his income to Sam, so Rex ka income is 25, 60% to Sam, that means 15 to Sam, and 40% to Quentin, which is 10. So Quentin becomes 22, Sam becomes 24. So Quentin over Sam is 22 by 24, which is 11 by 12. Right? Let's move on, guys. It takes machine A X hours and machine B it takes 1 by X hours. So do give this a shot. Let me give you all a minute to solve this, then we can discuss it together. All right. So, very horrendous question, right? X hours to manufacture a deck of cards that machine B can manufacture in 1 by X hours. Okay. How will we do this? So let's just pick up some numbers, right? So I can take X as 5 hours. So one deck of cards, machine A takes 5 hours. Machine B can do one deck in 1/5 of an hour. So it can do a deck in 0.2 hours. So machine A operates alone for y hours. Let's say y is 2. So we have taken x as 5, y as 2 hours. Right? So in 2 hours, it can do 0.4 of a deck. Right? 2/5 of a deck. How many do we want to do? We want to do 100 decks totally. Correct? So 100 may say 0.4 is done. You are left with 99.6 decks to be done. Now both of them are going to work together. Right? So if x is taking 5 hours and y is finishing in 1/5 of an hour, then per hour this guy is doing 0.2 of a deck and this guy is doing 5 decks. So the answer that we are looking for now that they are going to work together is 99.6 divided by 5.2. So when we put x is equal to 5 and y is equal to 2, our answer should be 99.6 over 5.2. Let's just make it a little better, guys, right? We can write this as 996 over 52, which is 26 divided by 498, right? The reason I'm keeping it at 26 is sub jagah, if you see, right? X square plus 1 here, denominator. So ye x is 5, so this 26 will leave it as it is. Now substitute x is 5, y is 2 to see which of them gives you 498. So here you don't get 498, you get 195. Option is gone. Here you get 498. So we'll keep B. Here you get 200 minus 125 minus 5. This does not work. And this is again 200 minus 50 minus 2, right? This doesn't work. And finally 100x here. This also definitely does not work. So answer is option B, right? Great. Moving on to the next one. So 5a is equal to 3b is equal to 25 and we have to find 30ab. So 5a is 25, 3b is 25 and now when I multiply them together 15ab is going to be 625. Do we need to find 15ab? No, we need to find 30ab. So that is going to be 1250, right? Option B. Great, let's move on to the next one, guys. This was a fairly peaceful question to solve. Let's solve this one now. Do try this. So great. We want to answer the question that is x cube even, and x is an integer. So x is definitely either odd or even. It can't be a fraction. Okay. So first statement is 2 times x plus 1 is even. That is no news, right? 2 into anything has to be even. So x plus 1 can be even also. X plus 1 can be odd also. First option, nothing helpful. It doesn't really. You shouldn't even look at them together because the first option is not giving you anything helpful. Okay. Second one now tells us that 3x plus 1 is even, which means that 3x is odd, which means x is odd. And that clearly answers our question, is x cube even? We can say no, x cube is odd, and hence 2 alone is sufficient. Answer is option B, right? Great, guys. Next question. A? Sorry, Paul. Yes. Let's look at it, A. So x is not equal to 0. Is mod of x less than 1? What does this mean? Does x lie between -1 and +1? That's what it's asking. Okay, does x lie between this? Okay. So when I have x over mod x, it's saying it is less than x. So what does this tell us? X can either be positive, in which case x will be equal to mod x, and hence x by mod x is going to be 1. Okay, this is one possibility. Second case you have is that x is negative, in which case x is equal to minus mod x, and x over mod x, right, is going to be equal to -1. So when I look at both the cases in this context, if I get 1, right, that means x is positive. So x can be anything, right? X can be 2, x can be 3, and so on. X can be anything, okay? In the second case, when I have -1, and it is still less than x, okay? That means x can be -2, right? -1 is smaller than x, right? So x can be -2. No, x can only be -half. X can be -2.5. So there are cases, right? There is a case when mod of x is greater than 1 in this case, and here in this case mod of x is less than 1. So 1 alone not sufficient. I hope, Paul, this is fine, right? That 1 alone is not sufficient. Okay. When we look at 2 alone, mod x is greater than x. So mod x is equal to x if x is positive, and mod x is greater than x if x is negative. So the second part just tells us that x is negative. But x can be in this range, x can be out of this range. So 2 alone not sufficient. Together we now know that x is negative. So x has to be, yeah. So x has to be between -1 and 0. So together it is sufficient. Answer is option C. Right? Let's look at the next one, guys. So Paul, just try this question. Let me know once you solve it, and then we'll discuss it. Just type in the chat box. D? Yes, D. Good job, Paul. Yeah, so how do we go about it? What do we get from here? You have Kylie, and then Joanne is 2 years younger, right? So x plus 2. And Kylie is 3 years older than Miriam. So Miriam will be here, correct? 3 years older here. And Miriam is 1 year, sorry, Lillian. So Lillian is here. And Miriam is here, right? 1 year older. So you have 4 consecutive numbers, correct? 4 consecutive numbers. When they add up, right? Your x plus 1, when they add up, you get 4x plus 10, correct? So the remainder with respect to 4 has to be 2. And the only number that leaves remainder 2 with respect to 4 is option D, 54, right? So great, great, Paul. Next question. All right, this is a tough one. Just solve this, let me know in the chat box. Yes, slightly tricky one. D? No, yeah, no, Ashish, not D. 4K. Wait, are you okay? You're talking about the next. Yeah, sorry. I have moved on to the 13th question. So yes, D is right for Ashish, sorry. 54 is the answer. So great, let's now solve. No problem, Ashish. Should I give you a second to solve this? Okay. So when you have this equation, best thing is to just rearrange this a little bit. So what do we get? We get R by 100 is equal to root of V plus Q over P minus 1. Right? So R by 100 plus 1 is equal to root of V plus Q over P. Should I wait, Ashish? Okay, so yeah, are we fine? I think now that we are solving it. And now when we go one step further, ये root किसी को पसंद नहीं आता ना, square root. So square it. So you'll get 1 plus R by 100. The whole square is equal to V plus Q over P. Correct? Now, if there is a square, that means most probably, even without even looking at what is there on the right hand side, most probably the R percent increase must have taken twice, no? Right? So anyways, now let's make sense of this whole thing. Abhi tak I was just working with this equation. Now let's make sense of this whole thing. K P rupees mein, correct, somebody bought a bond. It increased by R percent per day. After this, the bond decreased by Q rupees. Right? So if you start with P rupees, you have 1 plus R by 100 raised to N. And then the bond decreased by Q rupees. And you are able to sell it at V rupees. So now you can see, right, where we are going with this, that your n has to be equal to 2. And if your n is 2, that means you have 2 consecutive days of increase, right? Great, great, Ashish. 2 consecutive days of increase followed by 1 day of decrease. So you have 3 days after Monday, correct? You have 3 days after Monday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of the same day, right? Any doubts here, guys? Great. Next question. If x is a prime number, what is the value of x? So just give it a try, guys, and put your answers in the chat box. Great, Ashish. Two x is the cube of a positive integer. Yes, it's A. Yes. So great, let's solve it, right? What is the value of x? So 2x plus x, 2x plus 2, sorry, is the cube of a positive integer, right? So it's y cube. Now, this is even, correct? So y has to be even. Now, and 2x plus 2, if that is even, 2x also has to be even, correct? So 2 into x plus 1 may, x plus 1 also has to be even. Why? Because if y is even, I can write y as 2k the whole cube, and this has to be a multiple of 8, correct? So 8, 2 यहाँ पे है, this also has to be even. That means x is odd, correct? Now, which is the odd prime here? That 3 plus 1, correct? That's the only possibility. 3 plus 1, 4. Right? This is the only time you get a multiple of 4. Right. So, 1 alone is sufficient. In 2 alone, the average of any x consecutive integers is an integer. This only means that x is odd. Right? If you have odd integers, whether you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, तो 5 बीच में है, or you add 2 more, तो 6 बीच में है. So if the average of any x consecutive integers is an integer, that only means x is odd. अगर x even होता है, तो your hi Sanjana. Okay, what is it that you didn't get? Yes, Sanjana. Just let me know. Yeah. So coming back to this, the only thing that it tells us is that x is odd. But odd numbers can be prime, like 3, 5, 11, etc. Or odd numbers can be composite also. So this is not sufficient, right? Are you okay, Sanjana, with the second one being insufficient? Okay. Yes, Ashish, it always has to be odd. See the way, okay, let me explain it like this. See, whenever you have even numbers, correct, of consecutive integers, whenever you have even numbers of consecutive integers, your average is just going to come in between those numbers, correct? So if you have, your average will always be between the numbers. Yeah. Okay, where I took y as 2k cube. Okay, I'll get there, Sanjana. Okay. तो average हमेशा बीच में आएगा, average हमेशा 0.5 आएगा. पर, right, if you work with odd consecutive integers, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So average will always be an integer. So whenever the average of x consecutive integers is an integer, x has to be odd. Otherwise, the average will be 0.5. Ashish and Sanjana, are you okay with this? Yes? Okay. So coming back to why did we take y as 2k? See, 2x plus 2 is even. Right? So it is twice of x plus 1. Right? It is even. And this is the cube of a number. So your y cube also is even. That means y is even. And that means y will have to be of the form 2k. Yeah? So great. Let's move on to our last question, guys. This question. Just try this. Let me know. Then we'll solve it together. Yes. Good job, Ashish. Yes, GP formation. So each term is 3 times the previous term, right? So you have a first term and you have your second term as 3 times. Third term is, so much. Fourth term is so much. If I could get the first term, I can get all the terms. So 1 alone is sufficient. It straight away tells me A is 3, right? So 1 alone is sufficient. Right, Paul? Correct. Correct? 1 alone is sufficient. The second to last term is 310. But we don't even know, right? What is the last term? We don't know. So any term, right? AR square, correct? Till AR raised to n minus 1. This is the last term. Second last is going to be A into R raised to n minus 2. If that is 310, I know R is 3, but I don't know n and I don't know A. So 2 alone, not sufficient, right? No, not both are required. 1 alone is sufficient, Paul. 1 alone is sufficient. So answer is option A. Yeah. So guys, I will see you all again tomorrow at 2 o'clock where we'll do some more XAT questions. So please join in at 2 o'clock, then we can really get our doubts resolved. Okay. So see you tomorrow at 2. And of course, guys, I hope to see you on the Unacademy app. So do take the plus subscription. We are starting batches today, right? We are starting batches two batches. One is a complete weekday batch, right? And one is the absolute batch. Both these batches are starting today. So please be there. We do a lot of well-defined structured programs in the batches, right? Instead of single lectures, starting to end we finish the portion comprehensively, and we have a great atmosphere to study. So please ensure that you are there for that. How do you get into Unacademy? So please search for Unacademy in the Google Play Store, right? Download and install the app. And within the app, you have to search for the CAT Plus program and get subscription, right? If you are focused on CAT 2021, go for the 12-month subscription. Otherwise, go for the 2-year subscription. Do use my code Munira10 to get a 10% discount, right? So great. We have a lot of courses and I hope to see you there. Take care. Bye-bye, guys. Bye. Take care.